Most of us think of democracy as the right to vote, and that's part of it. But democracy isn't just about casting a ballot every few years. It's also about who gets to be in the room when decisions are made. That's where representation comes in. In a representative democracy, we elect people to speak and act on our behalf. But what does that really mean? What does good representation actually look like? And who tends to get left out? Representation means more than having someone sit in a chair with your region's name on it. It means someone who understands your challenges, your priorities, your concerns, and carries them into places of power. In theory, a representative should ask, how would the people I serve feel about this policy? Will this help them? Does this reflect what they value? Representation is meant to link individual lives to national decisions and to be a bridge between everyday experience and government action. It's also how democracy scales. We can't all be in the room, so we send someone who should be able to speak for us. But when that link breaks, when representatives become disconnected from the people they serve, democracy starts to hollow out. If a government is made up almost entirely of people from the same class, the same schools, or the same networks, it stops being a reflection of the population. It starts becoming something else. And that creates blind spots. Policies that sound good on paper, but miss the reality of daily life. Laws designed for headlines or interest groups instead of communities. This isn't always intentional, but the fewer lived experience in the room, the less likely those decisions will feel fair, relevant, or trustworthy. This raises a hard but important question. Who actually gets to be a representative? Do our elected officials reflect the country's social and economic makeup? Or do they mostly reflect a narrow slice of wealth, education, and influence? In many democracies, including Canada and the US, a large portion of lawmakers come from the top 10% of earners. Many have backgrounds in law, finance, or political science. That's not necessarily a bad thing, but it means entire perspectives can be missing, especially from working class and middle income communities. And when you only hear from a narrow group, you get narrow ideas. Here's where I'll offer a personal view. If democracy is supposed to reflect the people, then it should include the people, not just those with elite credentials or massive donors behind them. We need more middle-class people in government, not because they're inherently better, but because they carry a different set of truths into the room. They know what public transit looks like. They've waited at understaffed clinics. They've had to budget for groceries, childcare, or rent. And when those voices are present, not just as voters, but as lawmakers, policies tend to shift. They become more grounded, more practical, less theatrical. It doesn't mean every representative has to be middle class. But a healthy democracy doesn't leave whole groups outside the halls of power. And no, absolutely, I don't think it's just about who's in the room. It's also about what they choose to focus on once they get there. Some lawmakers quietly put in the work to improve daily life. They advocate for more reliable public transit, safer roads, stronger consumer protections, or better funding for schools and clinics. These aren't headline-chasing moves. They're practical acts of service. In contrast, we've seen elected officials pour energy into hot-button issues with little real impact. So ask yourself, how many people do you know who've been affected by what team a teenager plays on based on their gender? Now ask yourself, how many people you know have been affected by housing prices, grocery bills, or healthcare wait lists? One gets attention, the other gets results. Representation is one of democracy's quietest pillars. We don't always notice when it's working, but we often feel the damage when it's not. And it's not just about elections. It's about who runs, who wins, who gets heard, and who we trust to speak for the rest of us. If we want a system that works for more people, we need more people in it, especially the ones who don't usually get invited in.